right. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? We got our first cooking demo of the day. Hopefully, y'all are excited. My name's Sakinah. I'm sorry. I know, it's like, I can't do it all.
That's awesome.
So my name is Sakinah. I work for the Chalas. I work in the office, so I see some familiar faces, or I may be able to see some of y'all once you start coming into the office. But I work as a wellness coordinator for them, and I also have my own small business. It's called the Edgie Veggie. I do vegan meal prep and catering. So that's my little spiel.
So I'll be doing my mom a disservice if I don't tell you my full name. My name is Jamal, not Jamil, not Jamal, it is Jamal. But everyone calls me JT. Like her, I used to work for the Chalas, and then I transitioned to another full-time gig. Now I'm working as a healthcare coach for the VA, and I do a lot of the things that we are doing today. So I talk to them about the benefits of a whole plant-based diet, ways they can lower cholesterol, and pretty much just working with the veterans on a holistic health side of things. So that's pretty much what I do, and welcome to Brunch Bites, brought to you by Sakinah and JT.
So I feel like we wanted to do something that, I don't know, I feel like I have a hard time kind of finding like decent vegan brunch here in Houston, because it's like shrimp and grits, fish and grits, grits and grits, like it's just hard. It's hard to find, good plant-based brunch here in Houston. So we wanted to bring y'all something that you can make at home or make for a party that you have one day. So JT, he's going to be making an overnight oats, and I'm going to do a tofu scramble.
Yeah. So I'm going to be showing you all pretty much what I have every day for breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Is it possible to turn the music off? Yeah, it's here. It is.
It's great, but it...
We were trying to,
Create.
The vibe is here, though.
Great vibe, though.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. All right, so so we want to go ahead and get started?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to do a tofu scramble. Also, if y'all would like the recipes, it's on the PPF website. You go to resources tab and then recipes, you'll be able to find the overnight oats and tofu scramble that we're making here today.
So we also wanted to, what's brunch without, a mimosa, right? So so Sakinah, she came up with this amazing recipe for these healthy mimosas. So pretty much no alcohol. It's just juice. So she's gonna tell you what's in it. We added sparkling water instead of adding, the champagne or whatever mimosas. I don't know. The bubbly stuff. But yeah.
Let's work.
Okay, so while we're doing our thing, she's going to be passing it out. I would like to appreciate and give a shout out to our helpers. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with our tofu scramble. So I just have a bell pepper, like Dr. Barnard was talking about, peppers with all the different colors in them. These are good for you. So I have an orange pepper here. I'm just going to
Smash it.
cut it up.
Smash it.
And you can do any color bell pepper you like. I just chose orange today because it looks pretty.
Can I ask you, is that a male or female bell pepper? Do you know the difference?
Oh,
You look on the bottom. If it has 3 bumps, that means it's male. If it has 4 bumps, that's female.
we got a girl here today.
Girl power.
What is the difference between
Because say me and you did a sweet and sour dish, and you had all male bell peppers, it's not gonna taste the same if you did all female. But if you do a both, the recipe will taste totally different.
That's very interesting.
Your pan is heating on...
I'm sorry?
Your pan is heating.
Let me actually turn it on. Yeah, so basically I'm just gonna be throwing all the veggies in here. I'm gonna
Medium
dice.
high?
I'm sorry.
Medium high?
Yeah, it's at 5. Let's see how high it goes. Probably to 10. Yeah, so it's about medium heat right now. I sometimes adjust the heat because, so when I cook my tofu scramble, like, again, we're trying to be, whole food plant-based as much as possible. So I'm not going to use any oil in this. So I literally use the water that's already in the tofu to kind of help steam and cook the vegetables. So I literally just throw it all in there in one pan. And that's how we're gonna get everything cooked. So we're doing 1 block of tofu, so I'm probably gonna do maybe like half of this bell pepper.
Oh, throw it all in.
Everything. We're gonna add some more vegetables too, so I don't wanna be too bell pepper heavy.
May I ask, I'm new to tofu.
Okay.
So I know there's extra firm.
Mhm.
Where can I buy it at?
Yes, great question. So tofu, honestly, I would say that's one of the best plant-based proteins out there. Like, cause you can find it anywhere. Kroger, Walmart, HEB. It's usually gonna be in like the produce section. Aldi, did I hear Aldi? Yeah, all the different like.
Is there a special brand I should look for?
No, so
Organic.
this one. Organic for sure, yes, because we were talking about the non-GMO. So yeah, I have some organic tofu here. I get this at Sam's Club, or not Sam's, Costco. I think they have the same one as Sam's Club, but I get this here because I can get it in bulk. It comes in like a container of like 4 to 6 of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I just get it from there. But again, you can find organic tofu most big grocery stores.
Is your tofu firm, extra firm?
Right, so mine is considered firm. This is actually firm tofu. But I would say for tofu scramble, you want to do firm to extra firm tofu. That's going to be your best bet because once you get like to the more softer tofus, it's not going to be, because we're trying to mimic like scrambled eggs kind of. So you want somewhat of a like firmer texture. But again, like different tofus, you can make different dishes, like a silken tofu. You can use that for pasta sauces. I like to put it in like, if I'm doing like a ramen or something like that. Put it in recipes like that. But we're gonna use firm tofu here today. So I already have some washed and sliced mushrooms. I'm gonna throw those in here as well.
Sprouted tofu, organic tofu is available at Trader Joe's.
They do, yes,
I
I
used
love
to
that
have
one
it
too.
at Whole Foods, but I rarely see it at Whole Foods.
And they have high protein, which doesn't have the water.
And also on that same note, there's so many different types of tofu. Like there's not just soybean based tofu. So that's what we're cooking with today. But they have literally chickpea tofu, lentil tofu, and these are ones that you can even make at home too. That's next on my list to try and make tofu from scratch. But it's not as hard as you think. Like as you think it is. It's relatively easy. So. My next thing, I'm going to try and make probably some chickpea tofu or maybe a lentil tofu. And the options are really endless with what you can make. I saw one, my friend just sent it to me. It was, she made a lentil tofu from scratch and then she shaved it really, really thin and she marinated it and it was like a gyro meat, like for a gyro wrap. I was like, that looks delicious. I'm going to have to try that out.
So ever since she's introduced me to this recipe, I've been making it nonstop. So I told her I gotta give all my gym gains to her because I've been making tofu scramble almost every morning. And one of those things is just like when people say like, oh, it's tough to get like protein in as vegan, that's not true. You just have to go through other sources to get it. So ever since I've been introduced to this tofu scramble, real easy to make, real quick, simple, and I live alone, so pretty much I have enough for about 3 to 4 days. So it's like part of my breakfast routine every day, and I absolutely love it. But when it comes down to just trying to get that texture of like scrambled eggs, you got some people that like scrambled hard, you got like some people that like it a little bit softer. I think that's when you play around with the textures of the tofu. So just instead of going with the super extra firm, that's when you want to get more of that like, scramble hard kind of feel. But then when you go with a little softer, that's when you get kind of that softer, like soft scrambled egg kind of texture. I've also played around with, have you played around with like freezing the tofu at all?
Yeah, you know what? I accidentally did that the other day because my fridge is so cold, and like I went to go pull out some tofu last night, and I was like, this thing is frozen rock solid. But once you let it defrost, it has like a meaty texture to it, right? Yeah. Yeah, that is another, I'm telling you, tofu is so versatile.
Yeah, I made some with that too, and it's all good. Yeah, it still tastes good, but the texture is a little bit different. But you got to find the texture that works best for you. So I say,
Right.
play with all of it. There's a certain seasoning on there that is the key ingredient to it. But I'll wait for her to talk about that.
You'll
I'll tell you
make a
my
great
story.
team. As well.
Well, the onions, white onions, or yellow onions.
These are, I always get confused. These are sweet yellow onion. Sweet yellow onion. So, what I just did, I chopped up some onions. I already had the mushroom slice, and I sliced my bell pepper, and now I'm just crumbling my tofu in the pan. Because again, we're just gonna, it's a one-pot meal. We're just gonna throw all of it in there, and it'll all cook perfectly because the tofu has that water content in it.
We had a question over here.
Yeah.
The question was, you took the tofu directly out of the package and crumbled it into the pan. Can you speak about like having to, I don't know, what is it called, dry the tofu? Or
Oh, right, pressing
Pressing.
it.
Pressing.
Yes, right. Yes, ma'am. So, I honestly, I am somewhat of a lazy vegan. Like, I don't press or drain my tofu because usually I'm just like trying to do something quick with it. Maybe pop it in the air fryer or like pan sear it or something like that. So usually, and again, since I'm not, try my best not to use a whole bunch of oil, I actually do like the water in there because it helps with the cooking process. So before this demo, I did go drain the tofu. So I just drained the water that's in the tofu container. But that's it. That's all. So for tofu scramble, I do like, a little bit of water. But again, like we talked about with if you wanted to freeze tofu or something like that, or maybe if you weren't freezing tofu and you wanted like maybe a better sear on it, you can press it. I'm not against it. I just don't really do it myself. So
It picks up the marinade better.
Yeah.
If you-
that it is, yeah.
I recommend the Wildwood super firm tofu. I've never had to press it. There's no water to drain.
Yeah.
It's very good.
So,
Yeah.
So I've been playing around with the draining process of it as well. Like, 'cause I was like, let me try pressing it as much, making it just extremely dry, and it does dry it out really like a lot. So, which means like the pan is going to be extra. It's going to start sticking to the pan a little bit more. So I think that's one thing to be cognizant of when you are, draining the tofu. Make sure you're not taking all the water out of it because, like she was mentioning, that it is part of the
Cooking process.
yeah, it's part of the process, and it does keep the pan a little bit greasy, so you don't need to add things like oil to it.
Right.
Unless you're marinating it and making a bake or, like you're doing something else with it and you want it to pick up the marinade
Right.
flavor. You want to
Right.
head directly to
Yeah.
Exactly. Because that is true. Tofu really will kind of pick up any flavor
Yeah,
that you
it
put
will
on
like
it.
a
That's
sponge,
why
more
that's
like a
why it's so
sponge.
versatile. Like it can be, breakfast or lunch or dinner because you can just add,
Make it taste
whatever.
like whatever you want.
Right. Yeah.
I got a cheap way without buying anything. I just have a clean brick and I put towel on the tofu and just set the brick on top of it while I'm watching television.
See, I will say, like, it hasn't always been like this. I did used to try and press my tofu, but I never got, like, a tofu press. So I'd always just, like, stack random things on it, and then, like, 15 minutes later, I would go downstairs and hear a crash. It's like, what was that? And all my pans are on the floor, the tofu's on the floor. I'm like, I think I'm just not going to do this. Or I should probably just get a tofu press. Maybe one day.
You can have mine, I never use it.
Oh, it's so good.
So yeah, right now I'm just getting my tofu cooked. I actually wait a little bit to add the seasonings because I feel like I really like adding it at the end because I do like to get that nice sear on the tofu first, and then I like to add the seasonings. So I guess I can talk a little bit about what I'm gonna add. So again, whole food plant-based, so I'm trying my best to like not do as much salt. So I have something called black salt. And honestly, you can't smell it now, but once I add it to the skillet, you're gonna be able to smell it, and it's gonna smell like boiled eggs. Because it literally gives vegan or plant-based food like an eggy type flavor and smell. So it's called Kala Namak. You can get this at like an Indian grocery store, a Pakistani grocery store, but it's also called black salt, even though it's pink. I know it's confusing, but it's called black salt. So that's the first seasoning. And then I also use a little bit of coconut aminos just to give it like a little bit of flavor. I really like the flavor that coconut aminos has. This and tamari, I will say those are going to be my top. I don't know, soy sauce is fine. Soy sauce is all good, but something about coconut aminos or like tamari, which is if you're gluten-free, you can do tamari. Well, is coconut aminos gluten-free too?
I have no idea.
Should be.
And
Okay.
it's less sodium.
Less sodium, yeah. Coconut aminos has less sodium than tamari, but both of them kind of have similar flavor profiles.
I've tried the soy sauce because I ran out of coconut aminos, and it just
It
did
just
not.
doesn't do
It doesn't
it.
hit the same. No.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Especially with tofu scramble, it's like, I don't know, something about
Yeah.
like the tamari or coconut aminos that tastes better than soy sauce.
Yeah.
So yeah, coconut aminos, and I just have some ground black pepper. We love our nutritional yeast. This gives things a yellow color and also like a somewhat of a cheesy, kind of nutty flavor. So I love to add this in tofu scramble and anything that I'm looking for kind of like that cheesy type taste. We have some paprika, just add like a little bit of, I don't know. Paprika just does it.
I can't tell you what it does, but it
It
does.
does something. And then we have our turmeric. Again, adds yellow flavor, but also plenty of benefits that come in turmeric, especially when you're pairing it with black pepper. And then I just have some garlic powder and onion powder. And again, you can kind of switch it up, like depending on what you like. You may want to add something else or take something away, but those are kind of just like the basic ones that I'll use in my tofu scramble. What you got going on over there, JT?
I'm just organizing.
JT, you mentioned you make the tofu scramble and it lasts you like 4 days. Like,
Yeah.
how is it reheated?
Say again, the last
How is
one?
it like reheated? Is it?
Yeah. No, it's really good. I think the most amazing part about it is like, for the first day, I'll probably eat it just as is. Then the second day, you can start doing a little bit more to it. You can probably put it on some like tortillas, make a little breakfast taco, breakfast burrito out of it. Sometimes I'll put it on some Ezekiel bread and then just have it as a little sandwich and everything. But yeah.
Microwave it?
Yeah.
Microwave, you can put it in the oven.
Air fryer.
Or even on the stove.
Or on
Sometimes
the
I like to
stove,
warm
or
it
on
up
the
in the
stove,
stove too. Maybe just add like a touch of water so you get a little bit of steam going. Put a lid over it. You can do it on the stove if you don't want to do the microwave.
Yeah.
And like JT was saying, like kind of switching it up over the days, that helps you kind of, because I know we were talking about this the other day, like it's so hard for me to eat the same thing. I mean, I don't know, breakfast is one of those meals where it's like, I really like something different, you know?
Yeah.
So like switching it up, just like tofu scramble one day and then a breakfast burrito the next day, open face sandwich like that, that just helps me kind of get
Baked yam.
excited about my meal, you know?
Baked yam with some greens.
So yeah, I come from like, in my before life, I was one of those just gym rats that used to eat like chicken, rice, rinse and repeat every single day. So I guess I'm just conditioned like, I can eat the same thing every day and it just tastes great every single time. But with this, same. Like I can eat this every single day and never get tired of it. Same with my overnight oats. I eat that every single day. I just don't get tired of it. I don't know what it is with my palate. My palate's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So, it's still just as good as it was last year. So let's run this back.
Speaking of overnight oats, I also tried JT's overnight oats recipe for the first time. And again, I honestly was never really a huge fan of overnight oats. Like I always had, especially the cold ones. I had to warm them up in the microwave and all that. But I tried his overnight oats and I'm a fan, so I'm really excited. I'm very excited for y'all to try them too, 'cause they're absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Hold on. Sorry, we have a question.
Can you do overnight oats with steel cut oats?
I haven't experimented
No.
with steel cut oats, but
It might be.
I'm pretty sure.
No, they need to be cooked.
I think it's better. I think it's better if you do like the old-fashioned oats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can you do it with steel cut?
No, they need to be
It might
cooked.
not.
Because I tried to cook
It might be
steel
still
cut.
too dense, or not dense, but
Yeah.
like too
It takes a lot
hard.
longer to cook the steel
Yeah,
cut.
Yeah.
it needs to be cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good question.
To share something, I did have the opportunity to train with a national raw food chef, and he said the black salt is the only salt that completely leaves the body.
Really?
And so that would be interesting for people that, are salt sensitive.
I will say it is less salty. Like, so maybe, 1 teaspoon of sea salt compared to black salt. To me, it tastes less salty. I don't know if the sodium
Yeah.
content is actually less in black salt, but it definitely tastes to me not as salty, which is nice.
It's definitely, like, I think when I first had it, I was like, okay, let me try a little bit, put a little bit on my hand, and you get that hint of salt right in the beginning, and then almost immediately after, boiled egg, like right after.
I promise you, it'll make my whole house smell like boiled eggs.
Oh my god. Like I cooked it, and like at the time, I was like, okay, nice aroma and everything like that. I left my house, went for a walk or run, came back. Like, yo, it smells like eggs in here. Like, what happened? But
Sulfur component.
yeah, and like you smell it, and like it goes away eventually. But it's decent. It's not too overwhelming, but that taste of egg definitely does hit.
Right.
And it's good. It's good for you. That sulfur component is good for you.
Yeah. A good question.
Any other questions?
Well, I was going to offer a tip with especially traveling overnight oats. If you have like a thermal cup you normally travel with, and just put the hot water the night before from the hot water dispenser, the coffee machine. Put it in that and whatever, and just leave it closed the next morning. And then it's not cold, but it's been
Oh, it's been steeping.
set up,
Nah, that's
cooked
cool.
that way.
That's cool.
So just use a thermal cup.
Yeah, like I have, I come from an area where, wake up Saturday mornings, eat a bowl of cereal and everything like that. So like I like that component of like a lot of like, that milky and like something, I don't know what it is, milk and whatever else is with it, just always was appealing to me. So with the overnight oats, it's not completely cooked all the way through. I like mine just a little bit runny, so that way I still get that soupy feel, like old school, like eating cereal and stuff like that. So I like that component of it. So.
And then, like, depending on the season, it's so fun because you can dress it up in different ways too. Today we're using apples and blueberries as our fruit and bananas. But depending on the season, do peaches. I know you said it's like a peach cobbler type of situation.
The things you can do with like just oats in general, like the different recipes to make it taste really great.
Right.
I've experimented and made like a peach cobbler type of thing, which is almost the same formula as my, I guess apple blueberry pie oats, and it's amazing. It's really good. You just add a little bit more. Like the cinnamon, you can sometimes make your own syrup with it, and yeah, it gives it that kind of like apple or peach pie kind of texture. So
Right.
yeah, I say play around with those. I love it.
Cacao nibs.
Yeah, you could do like a chocolate type of, or
You can put
cacao
mint
powder.
in it, mint leaves in it, or you can put some cinnamon.
Oh,
Something
nice.
really good.
Haven't thought about that.
I know the options are literally endless, and now that I'm actually like overnight oats, I'm trying different things.
Yeah, play with it. All right, so I am going to get started with my side while she's finishing up her thing. So pretty much I'm just showing you what I make every single night, or sometimes I would do on Sundays. I would make a huge batch, and I would make probably like 4 or 5 days worth. How many ever containers I have, how many days I have to go into work, I'll make that many, and it just sits overnight. What I usually do is I'll take a serving of oats, but sometimes my oats are more fruit than it is oatmeal. It's like a fruit salad with addition of like oats and stuff. So, but this time I'm going to use just a cup just to keep it simple. But usually a serving size is half a cup. Now I'm back into powerlifting. Now I'm back into the gym, so I probably need a little bit more the carbs, calories, and everything like that too. So now I'm using more oats because that's what my energy requires. So now I'm going to I usually go with like a cup of oats. I forgot my frozen blueberries. So we're going to imagine that I put a cup of frozen blueberries in this container, but don't worry, and when y'all going to taste, and there's a lot more. I usually cook like I'm cooking for like a football team, usually at home by myself, so there's extras and more left over, so y'all are more than welcome for seconds. But I do the overnight oats, I do the oats, I add the blueberries, and then I add the apples to it. So pretty much my favorite apple, if you ever heard me talk about apples, you would think I was like a fan, I was in a fan club for apples. Like I am very picky when it comes down to apples. My favorite apple is going to be the Envy apple. Yes, we have a fan. So my thing about Envy apples, it is at the peak when it comes to crispness and just being crisp and sweet. It is really good. It's a really good addition. So you don't need to add a bunch of extra sweeteners, things to it as well. But the envy apples are absolutely amazing. Invest in one of these. You will start eating a lot more apples if you get an apple slice. But I go ahead and I just use my little apple slicer. It cuts it into really even pieces.
Do you remember it?
Yes.
We'll share it later.
Okay, yeah. My Instagram account name is Power Plant Poppy. So Power Plant Poppy. Yeah. Usually when I cut up these, I will probably take 2 at a time. Kind of looks like a little heart almost. So, and then I will just slice and dice it one time. So these chunks might be a little bit too big for people, but I find they are really decent for me. I do like a nice chunky piece of apple in mine. So I add those in it. Which I don't know is y'all helping me make my breakfast in the morning. So I appreciate y'all being here with me. So yeah, I will. I have a one of those choppers where you just put it in there and just like pull the string or you press the top. I do one of those sometimes if I'm making like a cereal type of thing where I just do the same thing, but I'm just more so to eat it like cereal. And then I will add all of these ingredients. And if I had,
it's fruit with a little bit of overnight oats.
Yeah.
it's more of a fruit salad than anything, but you know, if I had remembered the blueberries, it would have been a lot more colorful. But you know, use your imagination, and it makes like a nice blue, purplish tint. I have a few of my old co-workers here. They know the days of when I used to bring overnight oats every single morning for breakfast with a green smoothie. Yeah, it always looked really good. I put it in the same container, and it fits. And then I will go ahead and add the seasonings to it right now. So I just got to put onto this new cinnamon, it's Ceylon.
Does it have better benefits than regular cinnamon, would you say?
Yes.
That's what Dr. Neil Bernard said. So.
Yeah.
Right, that's what he told me, so I'm doing it. So usually I use the Tabitha Brown cooking method when she say, you know, do what you feel. When your ancestors tell you to stop pouring, that's when you stop pouring. But for this, I will go ahead and just add like a tablespoon or a teaspoon of cinnamon. Then I will add pumpkin pie seasoning, which is pretty much, it has cinnamon in it, it has ginger, it has nutmeg, allspice, mace, and cloves in it. I'm pretty sure you can just add all these ingredients yourself. I know most of my pantry does have most of these ingredients. So I just sprinkle a little bit on top, just to give it a nice little spice to it. And then I add vanilla extract. I add about a teaspoon of that.
Have you seen the vanilla paste?
I
Vanilla
have.
bean paste? That's like my new thing.
Vanilla powder is even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good too.
Yeah, without the sugar, you want pure vanilla bean powder, that's ground up vanilla bean.
Okay.
I ended up trying some of
Pricey,
that.
but
It was really good. So my thing is when I do this, I like all the dry ingredients to get the seasoning. So I would get it, just shake it all up, try to get the seasoning to be even distributed amongst it.
Can you just go through the ingredients list really fast again?
Say again?
Can you just go through the ingredients list really fast?
Yeah, so the ingredients are, I use overnight oats, well I usually use oats, apples, a cup of blueberries. I use pumpkin pie seasoning, cinnamon, vanilla extract, and that's mostly it just for that piece if you want it to end right then and there. And then I'll add like a cup or so of whatever non-plant or non-dairy milk that you would like.
And again, you can always, kind of figure it out based on like what you like. If you want to do a little bit less fruit, less nut, you can do that. If you want to do a little bit less milk or more milk, just depending on like what kind of consistency you're looking for, you can really play around with the different ingredients.
What is your favorite milk?
My favorite milk is probably flax milk. I usually go with that. I think it just has a really nice flavor to it. I usually, thanks to Dr. Greger, I was using soy milk. Just trying to get the benefits of those. But I didn't want, let's just say we had someone here that had a soy allergy. I wanted to give them options, so I used almond milk for the oats that I brought. So just in case if someone had a soy allergy, you're safe. Unless you have a nut allergy, then I don't have it.
Have you ever tried making like your own milk from scratch?
I have, and it's a.
What kind did you make?
It's a process. I made oat milk once, and then I made some cashew milk. But yeah, it's just like a cup of that nut, oat, whatever you want, and then 4 cups of water. Put it in a high-speed blender. I put mine in a Vitamix, and it just does all the work for me. I know some people can like strain it if they want to, but I usually don't. But after I get all of the dry ingredients together, after I put my milk in there, and most of the time I do half milk, I do half water, just to cut back on some of the calories if I'm in like the cutting phase. So then I would just go ahead, shake it all up, and that's usually it for my oats. And it's going to be ready the next morning. I use frozen blueberries, and by the time the morning comes around, the texture from the blueberries, the taste of the blueberries is soaked into the oats as well. The oats has soaked up the cinnamon. Every single bite just has all that extra flavor into it. But then I go ahead and take it a step further because I like mine to have a little bit like extra sweetness to it. So then for my breakfast, I will pack some extra
Oh, look
eggs.
at that little container, so cute.
The container likes to be called adorable. So usually I'll take some walnuts, and you can use a mallet, but Hulk smash, and I just grab my hand and I just crush it up in hand. And I will add in just a little bit of raisins, because I like to do the raisins.
The raisins really is a game changer.
It is.
I like the raisins and walnut and banana combo. I just love that.
Yeah,
Just like that crunch that you get because the overnight oats are a little soft. Like, I love that.
It hits on all cylinders for me.
Yes, yes.
Well, it's a sweetener.
Yeah.
Raisins are a sweetener.
So then I will go ahead and add in,
Use currant.
Yes.
even so I usually add the milk the night before. So even if I do make 5 days worth, I will put the dry ingredients first, and then I will just have that in the refrigerator just so the night before I can just add the milk in there so it's not extra soggy and everything like that. Yes?
Do you ever, instead of oats, use flax or hemp?
No?
But you can definitely add it in because I know I like to add maybe like a tablespoon of chia seeds.
Yeah.
You can add in,
But I mean instead.
instead of the oats. I never tried
I
that.
have not tried that,
Yeah.
but I'll be willing to try it out.
It'll make it.
Does that go in the refrigerator overnight?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, I put it overnight. Even with the frozen blueberries are usually defrosted, and it's just at that perfect level of like texture and sweetness, like so that way you're not tasting like that slushy filled blueberry. It tastes really good.
But also you can, because I know literally made this a couple of days ago at the office. I made it like a couple hours before I was eating it. So it doesn't take too long for it to kind of like congeal, I guess that might be the best word, or like thicken up. You know, you can make it literally a couple hours ahead of time, or you can make it overnight. Both of them work.
Like, thanks to the childless, I've never eaten that way. Usually, like right now, it's ready to go. You can eat it like this. The oats will be a little bit like tougher, but still, it's still really good. The recipe still holds. But adding in the bananas, adding in the dry ingredients. I had chia seeds, but it's in some bag. But you know, imagination. You know, imagine I put the chia seeds in there.
I have a question.
Yes. Yes.
They're safe to eat like without water, like the way we're eating them, right? Because in the past I've heard like they can get stuck in your throat or something.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that?
I haven't heard of, you know, them getting stuck
But you're
in
eating
the
it
throat.
with
The
moisture.
tea.
Yeah, but that's what you have to be careful.
Yeah.
You have to move it with moisture.
The tea is a different story. Like, if you ever had like chia seeds and you just like ate it, you constantly have to like do that thing where you're like trying to like look between the teeth to get it out and everything like that. But that's the only issue I've had with.
And blueberries, you prefer frozen as opposed to fresh?
Yeah.
Because you said the texture is much better, or?
I like
feel
the
it
color.
works either way,
Oh,
though.
yeah, that's it. Either way, it works. But I do like the color that comes from it when it does, you know, defrost and it, you know, kind of just like it's a
Kind of bleeds a little bit.
yeah, and also the texture is just perfect. Sometimes I know like those blueberries from that are already just fresh, they do come a little bit. Sometimes some of them can be a little bit soggy in the middle, but yeah, it's really good. But yeah, pretty much. In the morning, I would just take this and just add it on top of it, and that's pretty much my overnight oats.
Great.
So, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Juices are in the juice.
Oh yeah, I don't think we really got into that. So I use actually like kind of a medley of different oranges. I did a couple blood oranges. I did a cara orange, one navel orange, and then probably a handful of mandarins. I did probably like 2 cups of pineapple chunks, and probably several inches of ginger. And yeah, and
How much, can you give me the ratio on the water or the soy milk on the, to the 1 cup of oats?
Oh yeah, so usually I do like maybe like a cup or so. So if I want mine to be a little bit more runny, I'll add a little bit more than a cup. And then it really depends on how much oats you're using. With this, I use the whole cup of oats, which probably requires a little bit more water. So I will add a little bit more than a cup, so maybe like a cup and a half of like milk and water.
Laverne, did you have a question?
I was asking, you made this juice in a juicer?
Oh, sorry, I made it in a Vitamix. So I put everything in the blender. I add a little bit of water just to kind of get it incorporated, and then I strain it through like a mesh bag. So that's how I don't have a juicer, so that's how I make my juice. And you can, again, change up those fruits. You know, we're getting into melon season now, so maybe throw watermelon in there instead of the oranges, or, you know, you can kind of play around with it. You can add greens in there too. But we kind of, again, we're on the brunch vibe, so we kind of wanted to give you like a mimosa with no alcohol. Say that again. I think it works just as well. And again, it's just more space like that I don't have in my kitchen to put a, you know, juicer on the counter or underneath. I don't have the space, so I just put it all in the blender. I think it works just as well. A mesh bag, yeah. You can look up on Amazon mesh bag, or sometimes they'll call them nut milk bags, because you might make nut milk with that. But yeah, super easy.
Yes.
I was thinking, instead of the oatmeal, I'm a quinoa fanatic. So I've been doing that with quinoa.
Do you cook the quinoa beforehand, or you?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I've never tried a savory quinoa. That sounds really
No,
good.
that sounds
And
good.
savory oats,
Yeah.
so good.
Yes.
Yeah, with lentils and mushrooms, yeah, so good. And I've heard that.
Almost like a grits kind of situation, like a shrimp and grits.
Just look up savory oats or savory.
Or I guess that would be sweet quinoa, but that sounds really good too.
Because I haven't had sweet stomach, so I can't always.
That makes sense. I'll definitely have to try that out. What kind of fruit do you like to put in that one?
Pretty much the same thing, chopped up. You know, the apples would have to be fine.
Do you eat it hot or do you eat it,
Both ways.
okay? Definitely have to try. This sounds really good.
And lots of cardamom.
We love cardamom. You could do like a chai, kind of chai inspired one with cardamom.
I asked some really good questions.
Yeah.
Y'all look good. Y'all look good.
This is for those are all compostable, so this is compost
Can I
container.
add peanut butter to it?
How do you feel like it incorporates into it?
I have before. I think I might start doing that now because in the I do lift a lot of weights. So like in some phases of my training, I do need to add a little bit more things like protein or even just some extra healthier fat. So I do add the peanut butter to it sometimes, but I haven't done it like recently. But it's still good. It's still good.
Do you add the peanut butter in before you add the liquid or after?
After.
Do you melt it at all? Like, because I just feel like peanut butter is kind of hard to like mix into cold.
You asking a lot
You
of
just
hard
add the
questions.
nuts.
Well, also they have the peanut butter powder too.
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
thinking about getting that because that is so easy to just scoop and
I
be
just-
done.
Whenever I remember to add it, that's when I add it. Just like the phase that I'm in, like peanut butter, throw it in. It's almost done. Peanut butter, almost in. So I just like throw it in there whenever I can. And it does add a nice little texture, flavor to it. Sometimes if you add it the night before, it can mix it with the milk and kind of sort of make like some type of peanut clusters or peanut butter clusters. So like it does taste really good.
Yes.
How long does it take to do the tofu scramble?
This took about, I would say 15 minutes, maybe. Once it's in the pan, yeah, maybe about 15 minutes. It's super quick.
Are you gonna give some? I gotta take some.
Yeah, they're getting some together now. I already have some already made. I'm gonna have to put this away. I'll probably take it home myself. But yes, well, y'all will get a chance to try it too.
And with the tofu scramble, is that just like kind of cook it into your preference?
So sometimes you can get like cast iron is a little bit different. I usually go for a nonstick pan just because I feel like I'm able to get a better like crisp on the tofu scramble. So this one is gonna be super super crispy, but I do kind of like that sear on it, and then once it starts kind of browning, like turning a little golden brownish color, that's when you're like, okay, let's kind of flip it, get it incorporated, start adding the seasonings. Again, I like to add my seasonings towards the end. I don't know, I just feel like the texture of it is just better when it's you know, once the water's kind of all cooked out, then add the seasonings. It's like how it tastes a little bit better that way. So yeah, you can kind of cook it to your preference. I've never done tofu scramble in an air fryer. I've done like cube tofu and then tossing it maybe in like arrowroot powder, cornstarch to kind of give it a little bit of, to kind of help things get incorporated and stick, and then add whatever seasonings I like, and then throwing it in the air fryer. But I've never done the tofu scramble in an air fryer, but I'm sure it could work, for sure.
And even baking it, I've done it in just a baking pan.
Absolutely, yes.
Just lay it all out.
That's how I made it last weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
My tofu scramble becomes, you know, it's time to go to the grocery store and you have 1 carrot left and 1 piece of celery and so it's just literally everything, and that changes it up every time.
I know, yeah.
So that's just, you know, it's time to go to the grocery store, so now I'm gonna clean everything out of the crisper drawers, clean the crisper drawers, now go, but that's my tofu scramble.
For sure,
And so-
everything but the kitchen
So
sink
it's
kind of
never the
thing.
same twice.
Right.
And you know, like there was one time I was like, I've got 3 radishes, and I thought, is that gonna go? That's right. You know what I'm saying? You just, you know, so.
Yeah,
For sure, yeah, you can definitely change up the vegetables that you want. Broccoli, zucchini, asparagus, you know, mushrooms, no mushrooms. Like, there's so many different ways that you can make tofu scramble. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, like I've added some vegetable broth to mine too. It made it a little bit more savory, but like you legit can add any and everything. I use shiitake mushrooms. I'm a mushroom snob. Like I do like the other mushrooms, like the oyster, the lion's mane. They're really good. So I want to play with adding like things like lion's mane to it, just see like how that tastes. So yeah, you be exploring a little bit more with this. I just started doing it like 2-3 weeks ago. Yes.
Do you ever do lion's mane mushroom? I noticed they're in stores more and.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost like steak and eggs kind of situation.
I have done a lot of lion's mane mushrooms. I usually went to like the Asian markets to get those, but now we're starting to see them populate in like HEB and everything
Yeah.
like that. So.
You can find them at HEB?
Yeah.
Really?
Asian, I mean, it's still pricier, but
Right.
you know.
That's good to know.
Yeah, they're still really good. I do a lot of things like in the air fryer, so most times I probably put that in the air fryer. Sometimes I do sear it in the pan and then put it in the oven, kind of make like a chicken type thing or even like a steak type thing with it and everything like that too. But I play around with a bunch of recipes. If I'm doing something like pasta, I will just cook it with like stir fry with the vegetables and add it to the pasta. So I play around with lion's mane mushrooms a lot. So it's always good.
I used I made it taste like crab cakes.
Yes, the lion's mane.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the first time I ever made it. I'm like, this is it.
Yes, it is so tasty. The lion's mane, you can kind of like, you can bake it in the oven and then, well no, I shred it first, then bake it in the oven, and after it bakes, it literally looks like lump crab meat. So you just add all the same things that you would add to a regular crab cake, you know, your vegan mayo, celery, maybe some bell peppers, an onion, Dijon mustard, things like that. And you put them in a patty and you you can bake them or you can sear them on a cast iron. The what? Lion's mane mushroom. Mm-hmm. And it's very delicious. I don't know how we got on to the topic of mushrooms, but there's so many different recipes that you can make with mushrooms.
About the mushrooms.
Yes, yeah.
But no, yeah,
Do you have a
that's a good
store
question.
or a restaurant I can go to if I don't feel like doing anything?
No, I don't, but you can definitely go to my website. We can connect that way. My goal is to eventually have a food truck. I would love to have a food truck that people can come and visit. You know, that's my goal. But right now, you can order online for meal prep, or if you want to reach out to me about different catering events that you have, we can always discuss that.
So yeah, I would definitely, just experiment with her food, try her food out. She is one of the most amazing chefs I've been able to experience. And everything that she makes always really good. So
Gumbo.
yeah,
I make it all.
Yeah.
even her desserts, amazing. Like everything she does is great. So
I appreciate
if
that.
you can, definitely support her because she does that thing in the kitchen. So.
Right, you get with me for the food, and then you get with JT for working out.
Yeah.
Where do you train?
So I just started going back to the gym, started doing a lot more like powerlifting and everything like that now. So I'm still testing out gyms. I'm kind of dating gyms right now. So I'm using the like free trial membership that they have and everything like that. It's like, okay, I didn't like that. I'm gonna go to the next one. So I'm dancing around gyms right now.
Oh my gosh, you know what, now I think about it, if y'all kind of want to do that, have y'all heard of ClassPass before? You literally can, so it's an app, and you can book different classes like yoga classes, Pilates, you can do like the workouts at like the private gyms, everything that you can really think of, boxing, and you pay like a monthly, they give you, so it's like an amount of credits that you get like 20 to 40 credits a month depending on how much you pay, and you just book your classes like that. I've been doing that recently, I've really been liking it. It's just kind of,
So taught me something.
yeah.
It's called ClassPass.
ClassPass.
So
If y'all want, I can send y'all a referral code. I got you.
Send out an email.
We're going to be
Yes.
wrapping up soon.
Oh yeah, we're about to have lunch
I
now.
have
So
one question. Years ago, I was trying to dump potatoes. So I went to the Kirby Whole Foods. The young man with blue hair says, "Man, what's going on?" I said, "I want potatoes. I miss it so bad." He said, "Go over here with me." He said, "I want you to buy the largest radish you can find. The radishes. Wash them. Take off the purple or magenta, whatever we call it." He said, "When you cut it, it looks just like a potato. So put some scallion in there, some onions, some garlic, and just stir fry that. Saved my life." Radishes.
that sounds so good. I love radishes. I love radishes, turnips, rutabagas. I love that. Sounds really good. Very, very tasty.
Spicier.
Yeah, it has that little zing to it. I love that. And the microgreens, the radish microgreens. I know that my girl has some Houston microgreens. Those are so tasty too.
Do you have any recommendations? Sorry, my last question. Recommendations since ketchup has so much sugar. Nothing but sugar, brown, red stuff. Does anyone recommend any recipe for good taste like ketchup?
I have to make your own, honestly.
I haven't
There is one in the grocery stores, actually. I mean, if you're, I'm kinda lazy. And it, like, he sweetens it with carrots, dates, and things like that. And it's away from.
True made foods.
Yeah.
Veggie ketchup.
Yes, veggie
Yeah.
ketchup.
True made
So it's
True made
just
food.
like-
Primal Kitchen.
And Primal Kitchen has an unsweetened one. Has an unsweetened one.
HEB has Primal Kitchen and that one she's talking
Yeah.
about.
True made foods.
The figure, the thing about the one I'm talking about is a guy who is a small business, more of a small business than the, big Primal Kitchen, and he did it to get his kids off of sugar.
What's the name of that one?
I think it's called like True.
I think it's True Made Food. True.
TRU?
TRUE.
And it's not red, it's kind of orangey, so.
Yeah.
It's a
Right.
veg. It's a veg.
It was HEB? I bought it at HEB.
Yeah, it's in the store.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank
I
you.
was everything.
Yes.
I don't like mushrooms, but I eat the mushrooms there.
That's my favorite thing. Like people who don't like mushrooms, they like it.
Like, I have never been like a true fan of like the portobello mushrooms, but she changed my mind. They're just a little bit better than what I thought. But no, it's all about how you season it, how you cook it,
Right.
like the thing, the preparation you do with it.
She's just such a pro.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, before we end up, we y'all mind taking a quick selfie with me real quick? Yeah. Just my mom wasn't able to make it here, so I would like to try to get the corner of everybody. Right.
Wait, I want to get in.
Yeah. Hey. All right, 1, 2, 3. Hold on, somebody blink. Try it again. There we go. Hey, appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all so much.
Y'all did well.
Yeah, it was great.